Market for Eastern and Southern Africa COMESA Treaty Article number 129 commits member states to ensure adequate supply and availability of food to its citizens through the promotion of agricultural development within the region. Therefore, the COMESA Seed Harmonization Implementation Plan, COMSHIP, was developed with major key stakeholders. The COMSHIP aims to strengthen awareness and sensitization of COMESA seed trade harmonization regulations, provide seed production capacity, build support for smallholder farmers, improve infrastructure needs in seed certification and national seed regulatory reforms, and also covers variety release phytosanitary and quarantine measures for seed import and export. December of 2014, COMESA, through its specialized agency, the Alliance for Commodity Trade in Eastern and Southern Africa, ACTESA, partnered with Food Trade Eastern and Southern Africa, ACTESA, in implementing the domestication of the COMESA seed trade harmonization regulations in the East and Southern African region. The project is being implemented within the framework of COMSHIP in collaboration with the East African Farmers Federation, EAFF, and Southern African Confederation of Agricultural Unions, SACAU. The farmer seed growers, representatives from Kenya, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, and Uganda participated in this event. The visit was aimed at showcasing the benefits of quality and improved seed in small-scale farmers in the region. Veronica is the ACTESA Public Relations and now gives the overview of this exchange visit.
The Common Market for East and Southern Africa, COMESA, through its specialized agency, is implementing a COMESA Seed Harmonization Implementation Plan, COMSHIP. This is in line with the COMESA Ministers of Agriculture Directive of March 2015. However, there are several components within the COMSHIP, but I'll just talk about the reason why the farmers from East and Southern Africa are here today. Under the project component of effective advocacy, information sharing, and training, the East and Southern African Farmers Federation, the Southern African Confederation of Agricultural Unions, together with ACTESA, are working together to ensure that the farmers are empowered with knowledge. So the farmers are here to interact with the experts so that they can be aware on the benefits of utilizing the good and improved seed.
Here, the farmers go through the process of seed certification at Seed Control Certification Institute, Mount Makulu Research Station in Chilanga.
An analysis card is printed, which just looks like this.
You know, in Zambia, we have a slogan which goes like, no farmer, no food, and no future. So we value farmers so much in Zambia. And then on top of that, the farmers can be there, but without seed, there's nothing that they can do. So we value farmers that produce the food. We value farmers as well, those that produce the seed. And we regard the seed producers of different categories, whether they are small scale or commercial, we regard them as equally important. What they do is quite great for the Zambian farming community. Zambian agriculture is second, in fact it's the mainstay, second to copper production, mining. So we value agriculture so much in Zambia, and we attach so much importance to agriculture and crop production in particular.
One of the tests that is done in seed certification to ensure that the quality of seed on the market is true to type in terms of varietal purity and varietal identity is achieved through control growing. Why am I saying so? because when you plant, after germination is done, after all those tests are done in the lab, as you could have already been told, you will not know whether what you have planted, even if it has germinated, whether it is that variety that you wanted to. So that question is answered through performing a pre or post control. For the seed companies, for the seed that is still going for further multiplication, that's what we call pre-control. We also do that, except we perform those tests on their farms.
Farmers as seed grower representatives also toured SACAU.
Lafarge is the company that we send it to. They mix it together with the core so that it's burnt into ashes. So that one we do not use. Then the one that is not treated, we use it as commodity. The quality assurance team would also come in and check the quality of that seed. If it doesn't meet the parameters that we have set as standards, they will reject the crop and send it back to the grower. If it is accepted, we have the base that we receive them in.
We've been able to understand the requirements that seed companies give to us when they're contracting us to actually go into production. So when they tell us that we will need so much distance for isolation, for instance, we've been able to understand why they need that distance. So the tour itself has really been beneficial. Speaking on the perspective of a Malawian seed company, today has also impacted so much knowledge on me from Malawi to experience what Zambia SACAU is actually doing. We can say that we are competition, but also on the other side, we are not competition. We can also be complementing each other, because at the end of the day, what we want is to benefit the smallholder farmers who are out there. So at the end of the day, I can say that we've learned so much in the processing, the production requirements, and everything that we've been able to go to actually visit today. As a seed producer, we need to comply by the rules that the seed regulatory bodies have. If it is the SCCI, for instance, if it is the Seed Services Unit in Malawi, or whichever country it is. So my take-home message is that we need to enforce those rules that we are given so that we produce high-quality seed. At the end of the day, what we want is to have the farmers actually getting more on the income side.
On the second day, the farmers attended the 2017 Agritech Expo held at the Golden Valley Research Station.
You are going to have cobs that will look like this from this new variety. It has been made in a way that a farmer will actually have less problems if it is grown in critical conditions, if maybe you have very little rainfall or rain happens to go beyond the expected time.
Stephen Mushiri is the CEO of the Eastern African Farmers Federation and now explains about the farmer exchange visit benefits.
We have a formal relationship or partnership with COMESA, and more to that, we are part and parcel of this COMSHIP implementation program. We have been privileged to be able to participate in this farmer exchange visit, where we're able to bring in at least 10 farmers from East Africa to come and visit the Agri-Fair here in Lusaka. I think for us it's been an eye-opener, especially for the farmers, that they're able to understand and appreciate the trends in the seed industry. Sometimes when you're confined at the country level, you don't understand what is actually happening out there. And more so because I think you've realized in the southern part of Africa, there's more land space and hence more development and technologies around the seed industry. I think for us, what has been very important is that we're able to see the companies that are actually exhibiting today. We're able to see the latest advances as far as seed multiplication is concerned. I think one of the areas that would have also been important would have been to visit a farmer, because we are actually trying to see how we can complement what these companies are providing to the market, so that everybody, then is able to access certified seed. We believe there are farmer cooperatives or farmers who are actually here also producing seed, and that would have also been a pretty important component to actually visit. I think these kind of fairs are important and more so to bring in farmers to see what is happening, to appreciate what is happening. We were taken through the whole process of variety release. They appreciate a lot of work is actually done just in releasing the seed into the market. So that for us was quite something. The second thing is that is really important of the COMESA catalog. We've been challenged in East Africa in accessing some of the seed varieties. Personally, I had the opportunity to visit Zamseed that is producing an early maturing pigeon pea, and I was told is the only one available in East and Southern Africa. We've been looking for those early maturing varieties, and they're not available in East Africa. Way forward is the important role of course, women and youth. I think it's important that we continue demystifying this whole area of seed production that is not just a preserve of maybe multinationals or very huge companies, that farmer groups, youth can actually participate in seed multiplication. Is not rocket science. Yeah, we have youth who are actually trained in breeding. There's land they can actually access to. I think for us, what is important is that the capacity is actually built to be able to build to put together good business plans that are actually bankable, that are actually investable, and with the advent of ICTs, it becomes very easy to be able to share information across the entire region.
COMESA seed expert John Mukuka explains the benefits on the application of quality and improved seed that can withstand the weather.
We brought the farmers here because we wanted them to witness or to see in the field what quality seed is all about, and also to access certain improved varieties that are being produced by seed companies, whether small companies, medium companies or large companies. And then also we did this so that other technologies that are necessary to produce a good crop, like the use of agrochemicals, the use of good agricultural practice, are known by the farmers, so that when they access quality seed and improved seed, then they can maximize in terms of the yields that they can obtain at farmer level. In doing so, we invited the two farm organizations that are partners of COMESA, the East African Farmers Federation in East Africa, and also the Southern African Confederation of Agricultural Unions in Southern Africa, to bring farmer organization, farmer groups composed of the youths and women. Well, as COMESA, we're trying to make the agriculture seed business to be attractive. And that's why we are working with these two organizations, EAFF and SACAU, so that we can support the youth, even the women, in agriculture.
there's a huge demand in India, East Asia, for the pigeon peas because they eat a lot of peas. And we don't have the capacity to even produce a pea. So for farmers, we're trying to tell them, look, yes, you can do soya beans, you can do ground, but why don't you grow that? That grows with almost no fertilizer. And it's good for your soil cover. You will not have soil erosions and etc. etc. Okay, and I think what you're seeing behind there is sorghum. Why sorghum? Sorghum is used now in production of beer, but it's also good for areas that are arid, places which have rainfall of less than say 800 millimeters. We encourage that we grow sorghum. So in Zamseed, we try to help farmers diversify their business, diversify their agriculture, and also help the nutrition aspect of our farmers.
And most of the farmers have really appreciated our varieties. That one, 9089, is a variety which most commercial farmers have started loving and is doing so well. That variety has potential to give 10 plus hectares, 10 plus tons per hectare. Disease resistance is awesome. You can see the number of crops each plant is having. So most of the farmers are really appreciating. As you could see, our fields are clean. We used Bullet. Bullet is a pre-emergent herbicide. It's a selective herbicide. It has 3 inactive ingredients in there. So most of the farmers are being encouraged to use it. If they use that, then there's no need of weeding manually.
Seeing is believing.